What's going on, everybody? Psycho here. I wanted to go over one of my favorite strategies that I've been using in Legends League and Wars. It is the Dragbat. And here you see the troops I want to use. 12 dragons, 6 loons, a wall breaker, and then just a couple other troops to fill. Now, of course, I will alter some of these throughout the different attacks for different reasons. Sometimes I go with 2 super wall breakers. Sometimes I go with 4 free spells. It depends on the base. Typically in Legends League, I'll take 2 super wall breakers and 5 frees just because I don't know what I'm going to get. In War, I can plan a little bit and choose what I need. So over here, what I want to do is I want to come in opposite of the Town Hall, especially on these teaser bases. You see over here, I got that Eagle Defense. That is incredibly important to get down in a Dragbat, because they will just destroy all of your loons, all of your dragons before they have a chance to be effective. So first things first, create a funnel. I love to use 2 baby dragons when possible. Once they get into this compartment, I usually will rage up the king pretty early on because I want him to get through the heroes and all this other stuff. I try not to allow him to get too far in there. Unfortunately, a lot of times that giant bomb will take out all my little guys, and it kind of ruins his ability there. But the purpose of that is to get the little guys distracting the big guys. So the little barbarians will come through, and the king and queen will hopefully target them. If the big bomb takes them out, then obviously you just got to go about your regular business and take care of what you need to. But once the eagle's down, then I start funnel the dragon. I want to get rid of the edge buildings first, that way my dragons stay in the center. So 2, 3 dragons on the edge there, pushes them in. Dragons, loons, and I throw the warden behind them. Make sure the warden's set to air, otherwise you'll screw up your attack. Now try to hold off till a certain point. Once that blimp starts to get too far out there, I want to make sure that he's going to make it to the center. In this case, I think I put the blimp too early. I wanted him to get a little in there a little further. I did not expect that air sweeper was going to be messing him up. But in this case, I'm using a Yeti bomb. And once he gets over there, rage him up. They'll take out the town hall. You hope. In this case, it did not. Something went terribly wrong there, but we have a plan. I'm using my royal champion here to distract the wizard tower. It was not picking him up, so I went ahead and decided to freeze it. I also got to keep in mind on that scatter shot as well. Things to watch out for in Dragbats. You're going to have your multi-target infernos, your scatter shots, and your wizard towers. Those are the things you want to use the freezes on. In this case, I only had to use it 3 times before I got to the town hall. Once I got to the town hall, really my bats are not going to take it down. That was just more of a delaying tactic. My Grand Warden was who I was hoping was going to finish that off for me. So, got saved by the Grand Warden here. You'll recognize something. I'm not going to have enough time on this life attack. So close, but this one will be a time failure. But it shows the strategy of it. Typically in wars, I don't like to use Dragbats when there's 3 multi-target infernos, but in Legends League you don't have a choice of which bases you're going to get. This was the kind of show, the general strategy that you want to use. I took too long in the beginning to get things set up, what results in a time fail, but honestly 90% in Legends, it's not too terrible. This one also Legend League attack. I'm going to have a couple Legend League attacks, a couple war attacks. So again, on this one, I got a little bit of a buried eagle, but same strategy. I want to quarter the base. I want to take out 25% or just that corner with my king and my queen using the super wall breakers and the baby dragons to funnel. As you see, that baby dragon over there did not take out that storage. So I have to be strategic in how I place my king and my super wall breakers to make sure that he goes into that center there. And he did. It worked out well. So if you need to make sure you practice funneling, you'll see a couple of my attacks where I don't do a good job. You will never be 100% on all of your attacks, but the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. I did the important part. I got rid of the eagle defense. I'll go ahead and rage up my queen here so that way the Peck doesn't target her, and now I can start my funnel up here at the top. So I picked this side to come in on, mostly because I have quicker access to some of the more dangerous things to the bats. Those that will do more damage to the bats, I try to send my dragons on that side. So if it's more heavy on scatter shots, or if it's more heavy on multi-target infernos, or if it's more heavy on the wizard towers, that's the side I choose to send the dragons on. All right, so they're coming in, and I want to delay. There we go. So now that those, both those scatters were targeting my dragons, that's when I want to protect them with the warden ability. I don't need to worry about a spell for the dragons. They'll be just fine. So again, drop the Yeti bomb down there. The Yeti mites should take care of things. They have a little bit of a struggle. They drop just before the wall there. But the Yeti mites will be able to do good enough damage that I can get them on the back end. Not a big deal. Because if you look down below, I don't have much to worry about for my freeze spells. I have one wizard tower down there, and I'm going to use my royal champion on the back end to go ahead and take out the town hall. Now look at this. I have all these troops left. I have a good amount of spells left. I mean, I honestly don't think I needed to use my freezes. I just wanted to be safe. But you know, that royal champion, sometimes delaying it on the back end will help you out in picking up that town hall if you don't get it with your blimp. A lot of times I prefer to use my royal champion to tank for the bats. I'll use her to distract the wizard towers or the scatter shots. That way I can save spells for my dragons or my bats as necessary. The air, the little red bombs in the air will also be detrimental to my bats in quite a few of the replays here. You'll see where some air troop target or trip the red bomb and it takes out the bats. So I think actually this will be a good example of it here. I'll show you something to watch out for because I always bring in. You'll see here I bring in 2 minions to help support any kind of cleanup. And I've learned that you should not place the minions near where your bats are going to be, and you'll see why here in a second. So again, we want to come in opposite side of the town hall. Use the baby dragons to funnel. Doing a great job. Open up that compartment there. Now in this case, I did bring the 2 wall breakers, and my king and queen said, "No, that's all right. We'll just keep going this way." So I should have honestly saved that wall breaker when I saw that they were going to go off to the sides and use the wall breaker somewhere else. But, you know, things being what they are, they will never go perfect. So again, once you get to this part where you've kind of quartered it, which, you know, my king and queen took out 30% of the base, good for them. That eagle was the important part. So I want to send my dragons more towards the center now because I want them to pick up that eagle. So typically I would send them more in the upper half of that quadrant. In this case, I sent them more towards the center, hoping they would come over. Thankfully, they did. So you can see I did the blunt placement the same. Go ahead and execute the warden ability just before those eagle bombs hit because those scatter shots are way deep over there. So the scatter shots I'm going to have to pick up with the bats or with my royal champion. But I get the Yeti bomb over there. Again, another example where the Yeti bomb just does not quite make it over. So I'm going to pick it up in the back end here. So I've got my bats coming in. And so, see there, I used the royal champion to distract the wizard tower. Sorry, it's too early in the morning and I'm having trouble with the words. But I have plenty of freezes left over because of that. So I'm going to freeze up the town hall a lot here and that scatter shot and allow my dragons and my great royal champion to come in there. As you see, the royal champion uses her ability, takes out that town hall, and not a big deal. Now I'm thinking, okay, I'm good here. I'll go ahead and send in the minion, and I did. And my bats just absolutely disappeared because there was a red bomb over there. Had I not done that, the bats would have gone through, taken out the king, taken out the queen, took out all 3 of those stands over there, and I would not have been so concerned about a possible time fail. So just a little tip there, keep your minions away from your bats. They will screw you up bad. Thankfully, in this case, I ended up having enough time. I was able to get the king and the queen and the pedestals down. Actually, I can't remember if I get the king down here or not, but I do get the pedestals down thanks to my little owl there who has an amazing little owl attack. So another 3-star in the books. Next attack. So this one was a war attack, and I had time to plan this one out. So this was kind of fun. I decided that I only needed to bring in 1 super wall breaker here. I decided to bring 3 baby dragons because I was expecting there to be a black mine up there, to be honest, and take out one of my baby dragons. Didn't happen, so yay, extra baby dragon. As you see, I create the funnel, send in the king, and I need the queen to take out that cannon before I send in a wall breaker. So the king starts to go that direction. I do not want them to go up north. That'll be detrimental to me. Thankfully, they come south. Super wall breaker comes in, opens up that compartment. Queen is now going to have access to all sorts of good value here. Go ahead and rage up the king here. Take out. I wanted to try to delay as much as possible to take out that bomb tower because the bomb tower will ruin the king's rage. It does not happen. So my little barbarians are all going to disappear. But the queen's in there. She's going to do her thing. Takes out the eagle defense, gets what I need, so I can start bringing in my dragons on the backside here. I take out that edge, you keep seeing, so that way we can keep them in the center. We do not want the dragons going around that edge. Lead with the balloons just in case there's a black mine up there. They will move in closer, and I expect all the loons to drop. The loons are not in the central focus of the attack. They are mostly there to take out black mines and red mines as necessary. I kind of delay a little bit to make sure I can get the blimp in to the level I need before I hit that warden building, because I want the warden to protect as many of those dragons through that scatter shot as possible. Timing is very important when you're doing a Yeti bomb. Make sure you also keep that poison ready for those super minions that people love to put in that clan castle. I personally hate super minions because they ruin a lot of my attacks. I'm getting better at being ready for them, but just always make sure you have a poison. And again, I brought in plenty of free spells, wanted to make sure that I was covered, and they will take care of my bats all the way through. And as you see, I got bats above the scatter shot up there. Perfect spot for bats. If bats are above the scatter shot, they're good to go. So I've used all my spells and went exactly as planned for the number of free spells I had. Bats are going to come in, clean up the back end. Dragons will come through, clean up that front end. So very great for a war attack. When you have time to plan, it is phenomenal. You can decide how many spells you need. You know, planning is most important when it comes to war attacks. If you're just going into war attacks blind like it's a Legend League attack because that's the attack you always use and you're most familiar with it, you know, it's not going to be that great. You can alter your setup. You know, like I told you at the beginning, my typical setup is 2 super wall breakers and 5 freeze spells. There are some times where I'll go with 2 freeze spells, to be honest, and 7 bats. I'll do a video tomorrow where I kind of show different variations of this attack that use more or less of the spells for bats or for the freeze ones. But you know, let's focus again. You know, typical Legend League attack. So I bring in, like I said, 2 super wall breakers, and I got my funnel going on. Now, sometimes I don't want to lead with my bats right away just because that where the placement of that AD is. So I get that air defense taken out or targeted, get that funnel created, I open it up. I'm afraid my queen's going to come south, so I send in Baby Dragon, and it's a little too late. So still target some of that stuff in the center here, but she's already making her way down. But I brought a second super wall breaker for that exact case where I screwed up. So she does manage to get in, is able to take out that eagle defense, and boom, I've got my quadrant made. You know, it's clockwork, it's a pattern. You understand what you're doing here. You keep repeating it, and you have success. Now again, in this case, I see something I don't like for my bat attacks, and that is 3 multi-target infernos. So I got to be careful here on how much I use my free spells. As you see, in this case, I actually brought 7 bat spells and 4 free spells. So I don't have as many free spells as I'd like in the case where it's a multi-target inferno. So I got to be a little more stingy with them here. So I get my dragons in deep, then I send in the blimp a little late. Protect it through the warden ability. Protect those dragons. Timing. Again, timing. Important to get that timing correct. Blimp gets over there, rage it up, take out that town hall, and my dragons have now taken out 2 of the multi-target infernos and a scatter shot. So I go ahead and send in my bats. I'm not sending in my world champion. I want to send her in when the bats get closer towards that scatter and the wizard tower in the center there. So there she goes. She uses her ability just as I was planning. Scatter shot starts to target her just in case, and I get my bats above that scatter shot and that multi-target inferno taken out. Exactly what I needed. I needed the bats above that scatter shot. They made it. Tack came out perfectly. So it is possible to use the bats when it's multi-target infernos, just not preferable. Okay, there are stronger attacks to use when you're in a war that don't involve bats. So it's a more secure 3-star. So yes, this attack is great, but do not make this your only attack. Have other attacks in your repertoire for those instances in wars where this will not work as well. I hope that you've enjoyed the video. I hope that it helps you out. I'm mostly doing this to help remind me how I need to be doing these attacks because sometimes I get into bad habits. But I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I will post again very soon. Have a good time.